Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Mr. Bad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Ashtotar the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Ashtotar the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Okay. Narayanam namaskritya Narang chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Thank you. Nashta prayesha badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord, who is glorified in transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 22nd day of June, 2020 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we are in fourth canto, the creation of the fourth order. Chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva, text 58. Atana Gangres Tavakirti Tirtayor Antarbahi snana vidhuta papmanam. Bhuteshvanukrosha susattvashilinam. Syat sangamo nugraha esha nastava. Athana gangre stavat kirti tirtayor. Antarbahi snana vidhuta papmanam. Bhuteshvanukrosha susattvashilinam. Syat sangamo nugraha esha nastava. Athana gangres tava kirti tirtayor. Antarbahi snana vidhuta papmanam. Bhuteshvanukrosha susattvashilinam. Syat sangamo nugraha esha nastava. Want someone else to do it? Athana gangre stava kirti tirtayor. Andarbahi snana vidhuta papmanam. Bhuteshvanukrosha susattvashilinam. Syat sangamo nugraha esha nastava. Athana gangre stava kirti tirtayor. Andarbahi snana vidhuta papmanam. Shanokrasha susattvashilinam. Syat sangamo nugraha esha nastava. Athana gangre stava kirti tirtayor. Andarbahi snana vidhuta papmanam. Bhuteshvanukrosha susattvashilinam. Syat sangamo nugraha esha nastava. Athana gangre stava kirti tirtayor. Andarbahi snana vidhuta papmanam. Bhuteshvanukrosha susattvashilinam. Syat sangamo nugraha esha nastava. You don't want to try? Okay. Ata, therefore, anaga angrehe, of my Lord, whose lotus feet destroy all inauspiciousness. Tava, your, kirti, glorification. Tirtayoho, the holy Ganges water. Antaha, within. Bahihi, and outside. Snana, taking bath. Vidhuta, washed. Papmanam, contaminated state of mind. Bhuteshu, unto the ordinary living beings. Anukrosha, benediction of mercy. Susattva, completely in goodness. Shilinam, of those who possess such characteristics. Syat, let there be. Sangamaha, association. Anugraha, mercy. Eshaha, this. Naha, unto us. Tava, your. Translation, Lord Shiva is praying to the Lord. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all the contamination of sin. I therefore beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees, who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet, and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. Purport. The Ganges water is celebrated as being able to eradicate all kinds of sinful reactions. In other words, when a person takes his bath in the Ganges, he becomes freed from all life's contaminations. The Ganges water is celebrated in this way because it emanates from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, those who are directly in touch with the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who are absorbed in the chanting of His glories excuse me, are freed from all material contamination. Such unalloyed devotees are able to show mercy to the common conditioned soul. Srila Dravida Dasa has sung that the devotees of Lord Chaitanya are so powerful that each one of them can deliver a universe. In other words, it is the business of devotees to preach the glories of the Lord and deliver all conditioned souls to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. Here the word Susattva means Shuddha Sattva, the transcendental stage beyond material goodness. By his exemplary prayers, Lord Shiva teaches us that our best course, our best course is to take shelter of Lord Vishnu. Let me mark that one. As I read, I find these little mistakes. Does it? Yeah. To take shelter of Lord Vishnu and his Vaishnava devotees. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him and all members of Shri Parampara. So before I begin, assuming that this mistake is in the book, I have to apologize, because I was the proofreader for this canto, and I missed it. Anyway, so this verse naturally follows from the previous verse. He's glorifying the association of devotees as more valuable. Now, I just wanted to point out, because I looked this up, Chanedarnapi Tuliye. This verse appears 3 times in the Bhagavatam. Any verse that appears twice is very important. 3 times? It's worth meditating on. In other versions of this verse, the first word is a little different, but it means exactly the same thing. The first line, Tuliyama lavenapi, naswargam napunar bhavam bhagavatsangi sangasya martyanam kimutashisha. So what this verse is about is the extremely valuable association of a pure devotee, even for half a moment. The other versions say a moment. This says half a moment. But the meaning is the same. So how is it expressed here? First of all, what's talking about bhagavatsangi sangasya, association with an associate of the Lord. A bhagavatsangi is someone who is closely associating with the Lord. In other words, the pure devotees. Association with such devotees is more valuable than anything you can find in the heavenly planets. Na punar bhavam. Who can guess what that means? You know what punar bhavam means? Come back again. To come back again to this world. But na punar bhavam means not again. Not again, coming back again. Or being liberated from coming back. In other words, liberation. Na punar bhavam. It can't be compared. It's so valuable. It's way more valuable than liberation itself. What to speak of, this kimuta is an idiom in Sanskrit, means what to speak of, anything one can hope for in this world of death, marjanam, or mortal world. So, that's what the previous verse was about. And this verse says, therefore, or by that association, I will be able to become completely purified, because these devotees are in touch with your lotus feet by service. That's what it means to be a pure devotee, to always be meditating and serving the lotus feet of Krishna in every circumstance. So they're walking tirthas. In other words, they carry with them the benefit of bathing in the Ganges water. The Ganges is so purifying because it says it emanates from the lotus feet of Krishna, or it described how when Vamanadev pierced the universe with his second step. First step, he covered the whole universe. The whole world. Second step, he covered the whole universe and pierced the covering of the universe, which is very thick. billions of miles wide, but he pierced it. And a few drops of that water, the causal ocean, the spiritual water, leaked through, and that became the Ganges. So in that way, it emanates from the toes. Because it's carrying the dust of his lotus feet, it's always purifying. You get a chance to bathe in the Ganges when you go to Mayapur. Because nowadays we just put a few drops on our head, but the idea is the same. So, antarbhi snana vaduta papanam. Such association with these devotees who are in touch with your lotus feet completely cleanses away, like taking a bath internally and externally, to cleanse away all sinful reactions. Viduta means to cleanse. And so he's praying for that association. And I think that your real benediction will be, allow me to associate with such devotees. So I was, there's so many wonderful verses in the Bhagavatam about association. And of course, I think you cited the statement in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi, Lava Mata Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Again, you have this Lava Mata, means just a moment's association. That all the Shastras declare, and here he has the repetition too in that one verse, Sadhu Sangha, that they all declare that even a moment's association with a pure devotee can bestow all the benedictions, right? Lavamata Sadhusanga, Sarva Siddhi, all perfections can be attained. Now, how is that? Because that association can plant in our hearts the seed of bhakti, the seed of the creeper of devotional service. By just one moment's association. Now, in this modern age, also, we say, well, where are the pure devotees? Well, we're trying, but really it's very rare to find a completely pure devotee. But this is the tremendous value of the books of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is here in every page, in every word. And when you read these books, or even better, hear them, read them together with other devotees, and discuss. But just individual reading, you're associating with Srila Prabhupada. You're getting that association. Now, how you receive that association, if you take the instruction in your heart and you follow it, that's the perfection of the association. And just like we sing every morning, right? Guru Mukha Purna Bhaka Chitta Te Koraya Aikyarna Kariya Monayasha. For me, that's the most important line in that whole song. That as the actual meaning is, oh brothers, he's saying, oh brothers. Guru Mukha Purna Bhakya Chitta Te. The words, make the words coming, emanating from the lotus mouth of the Guru, one with your heart, and don't desire anything else. This is the injunction, is to be one-pointed and take those words of which there are in abundance, right, and let it transform you. Take them into your heart and serve the words, just like Brahma said, right? The wonderful conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy. So it's a series of questions and answers. Lord Chaitanya takes the position of the disciple, and Ramananda Roy, after some encouraging, he takes the position of the guru. So the natural question Lord Chaitanya asks is, what is sadhana, what is sadhya? What is the goal of life, and how can I achieve it? This is the question that we've been spending lifetimes before we ask it. First of all, we need to ask it from the right person, and we have to know that that's the right. Not how can I make money? How can I enjoy? Where's the party? What's the price of this? There's a million different questions. What is that verse? You know it. Shota Vyadini Rajendra Nunang Santi Sahasra Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grahamedinam. The first 6 or 7 verses of the whole second canon are a lesson all in themselves. And the first thing that Shukadev Goswami says, he praises the question of Parikshit. Who can give me what is that question, the basic question that he asked? Balaram, you remember? Yes. What should one hear at the time of death? What should be one's consciousness at the time of death? What should you do at the time of death? And Prabhupada makes it very clear, we're all Parikshit. We don't know when we're going to die. He had 7 days notice. We may not have 7 minutes notice. I like to point out, if it's not already obvious with this pandemic, that I went through. I think you were even too young for this. For the Cuban Missile Crisis, were you aware of that? 1962, little 6 years old, innocent age. I was 14. I knew exactly what was going on. So you know the history. The world came this close to being a burned cinder. Of course, we know that now we know that the Kali Yuga is meant to go on, but that's the way everyone thought. You ever hear that song by Bob Dylan? A hard rain is going to fall. I don't know if you're fans of that man. That's also now ancient history. Anyway, he wrote that in New York at the time. Did you know that? Yeah, he knows. He wrote that in New York because a hard rain is about to fall right on New York City. Anyway, to live through it, it's like, it was sobering. But then people forget, we got through it. Oh, okay, it's over now. And then, but at any moment, these things can happen. So therefore, we should take that this instruction of Shukadeva at the beginning of the second canto very seriously. This is all for us. So he says, oh, very nice question. That just by asking that question and the answer benefits not only you, the listener, the speaker, and the hearer. Perfect question. And then he said, but on the other hand, the gross materialists who aren't even interested in subject matters, they have millions of things. He says thousands, but it's unlimited, of other subject matters to hear and chant. Obviously. And then he, in 2 verses, he paints a picture of material life. He says, what is it? Nidriyariyate naktam. At night, they sleep too much or have sex. During the day, they work hard to make money. And on the weekend, they go shopping. He doesn't use that exact word. It could to maintain their family and so forth, shop or recreation. And they think they're protected. There's this illusion. What is it? They have various soldiers and means of defense. The body is the first one. Keep it healthy and strong, protecting. Your relatives, your children, the wife, your money, etc. But these are all called fallible soldiers, Prabhupada names them. Satsu abhi. Even though they're fallible and it's not a great mystery, you've seen your grandfather die, your father dying, and so there's nothing going to stop that. Your children. Prabhupada says the would-be or future fathers of their own children. So all of this is fallible soldiers. Tesham pamatto nidanam pashyan. Even though seeing the destruction of them and your own imminent destruction, they don't see. This is another Sanskrit idiom, pashyan up in the pashyati. They see, but they don't see. In other words, they don't understand. They don't, So therefore, he says, Tasmad bharata sarvatma bhagavan ishvaro hari shrotavyak kirtitavyascha smartavyak chechitabayam. If you want fearlessness at the time of death, which is impossible to get if you're on a bodily platform. In other words, if you want to be successful in life, then here's the simple prescription. Shrotavya. Hear and chant and remember whom. He has 4 definitions. Sarvatma, Bhagavan, Ishvaro Hari. The soul of all, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, Hari, Krishna. There's no question who he's talking about. And then he says another important word, Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Padinishtaya Janmalabhak Parakpangsam Ante Narayana Smriti. Everybody should at least know that last line. Ante Narayana Smriti. Simple to understand. At the end of the life, one has to remember Narayan. Whatever you're doing in Sankhya Yoga or your Varnashram Dharma or your yoga, then the perfection is to remember Narayan, Krishna at the end of life. Bas. 6, 7 verses, he's got a whole lesson there for all of us. So how can one attain that? The first prerequisite is to get an association of a pure devotee. And Parikata had the greatest association, Shukadeva Goswami. But we're not bereft. We have Prabhupada, we have his forebears, we have those who are coming after him, who are following closely and carefully. And so Lord Shiva here is praising that. First he praises the association, even a moment's association. And then he's praying for that association and describing more of its effect. So there's this cleansing, the purification. The whole process is a purification. This is why the first words of the Shikshastika, we can all chant them together. The first line. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadarbhagninirvapanam. Okay, that's the first line. So this is a cleansing. Marjanam is to wipe off the dirt from the mirror of the heart, right? So that one can see oneself, one can see Krishna. Otherwise our vision is completely clouded. We have a wrong view of ourselves, this world. We don't believe in God. We're completely in darkness and we don't know it. So this Sankirtan congregation, this is the first benediction. It cleanses. You start to wake up. And as soon as you wake up a little bit, this is the first installment, the fire of material life is extinguished, of birth and death. That's the first, the liberation. And it goes on from there as you know it. So that's cleansing process is what the association is all about. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole Sadhu Sangha Gashtaka, which I think I've done several times already. But just the essential part that's most pertinent. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkana rasayana katha tadoshanarasu apavargavatmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. This is practically a definition of what Prabhupada intended this society to be. He said he created this society to give people, including the devotees, a chance to associate with each other, become purified through hearing and chanting, and of course the temples facilitate that, the ashram, the deity worship. But the main process is to accompany everything with hearing and chanting. That's the constant cleanser. So, and he's specifically referring to the lotus feet. You may not remember a few verses back, the one that I always remember in this, Padashadat Padma Palacha Rochisha. He's praying to have a vision of the Lord, whose feet are just like the lotus flowers, and the feet and the petals are emanating this effulgence, which is destroying the darkness in the heart. So lotus feet are so famous, and the great devotees, they're always in touch because they're always serving. Lotus feet means service. When you meditate on someone's lotus feet, you bow down and the lotus means, okay, I recognize myself as subordinate, and you're the master. So that's and Krishna's lotus feet themselves are very famous. It's the markings on the lotus feet, and the fragrance and the softness, the coloring. There's so many verses about the lotus feet. Your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all contamination of sin. So he gives the association with the Ganges, which are coming from the lotus feet. So that when we associate properly with devotees, and of course there's a whole understanding of how to associate with different levels of devotees. Generally, from equals. Generally, you sit down, you hear and chant, you share realizations, friendship, right? That verse again, a verse from the 11th canto. Ishvare tadadineshu balisheshu chichacha prema maitri kipo bheksha yakaroti samadhyama. We're meant to come to this point of at least madhyama bhakta, and that is recognizing four different categories of beings. The first is the Lord, Ishvara, which you try to develop love, prema. For devotees, friendship means that you're, as we learned from the nectar of instruction, giving gifts, giving prasadam, receiving gifts, and sharing one's mind. In other words, revealing one's mind. So, as well, part of that is meeting together, glorifying together. It's just wonderful. I mean, to sit and read Srila Prabhupada's books together and discuss. This is very pleasing to Prabhupada and Krishna. That's why it's so blissful. It is very blissful. Instead of the mind going here and going there, and so many things we can think about. So, the destroyer of contamination. Therefore, I beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of devotees who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet, and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. Now, one of the blessing of devotees, especially I was thinking, I think I heard Prabhupada, he chanted part of this verse in a lecture, and then I looked up the whole thing. It says, the greatest benediction really is to be chastised by the pure devotee, is to be who cares enough about your spiritual life to get on your case. And therefore, Krishna says, after the Ila Gita, Ila is not such a famous name, but Pururava, I don't know if you've gotten the fifth canto yet, if you read the Bhagavatam. There's this whole pastime of Pururava, who was a great king, and he became infatuated with Urvashi, who's a damsel from the heavenly planets. I think there's another situation where Indra sent her down in order to, he was getting too pure. But anyway, he gets completely infatuated with Urvashi. He can't live without her, And so at a certain point, she wants to go back to the spiritual world, to the heavenly planet. So she made a deal with him. Okay, we can have a nice relationship, but I only want to see you naked when we're going to have sex. And so he says, okay, no problem. So then she had a couple of pet, not calves, what were they? Yeah, some other animal. Lambs. And so in the middle of the night, and she's lying naked, the lambs get free, lost, Oh, they're stolen. Thank you. And so she says, "Oh, what are you? You're just a coward. You're not going to go get my lambs back?" So he runs out and he retrieves them. He comes back. Here's your lambs, but he's stark naked. He said, sorry, I'm out of here. So she goes back. I guess, did she take the lambs? I don't know. Maybe he left them. Anyway, so what happened? So he doesn't give up on her. He's just longing and pining and longing. And then she says, okay, one day a year you can come up here, we'll have it. So he goes that way for years, or I don't know, long time. Finally, he comes to his senses. And there's this thing, in the 11th canto, there's this Ila Gita. Ila is another name for Pururava. And it's heavy duty, he's like, so many years, I was longing after the lips of Urvashi, but what is the body? It was just full of worms and stool. How could I be so degraded? He's condemning himself, after that, and I think finally he takes shelter of Krishna, So after that, this is part of the Uddhava Gita, I believe. After that, Krishna has this verse, and he says, Tato duk sangam utsrija satsu sajjeta buddhiman Santa evasyas chindandi mano vyasangam uktibi. I'd probably like to quote this verse. This is an important verse. It says, therefore, now that you know the Ila Gita, therefore, one should reject at a very far distance, and kick out very firmly bad association. There's sadhu sangha and there's duk sangha. And what we know is duk sangha, is that association which contaminates you. And satsu sajjeta buddha, the intelligent person, should kick out all this bad association and associate with devotees. Satsu is a sat, devotees. Because santa, the saints, evaset chindandi monovyasagam uktabi, with their strong words, they can cut off all of the very powerful and impacted material desires in the mind. Monovyasangam uktabi, they can chindanti. So that's why you find in the Bhagavad Gita, and oftentimes the guru is very strong words. What happens in the Gita when Arjuna takes shelter of Krishna as his guru, and now he's his disciple? This is a very key verse in number 7 in the second chapter. Karpanya dosho pahata sabhava prachamitvam dharma samuda cheta. I'm completely bewildered about what my dharma is. In the Vedic culture, knowing what dharma is and actually doing it is a key factor, because everything keys on what you're following. If you're not following anything, you're an outcast. You're condemned. So there's a big thing. So now he says, I don't know. I'm bewildered about my dharma. So rather than just talk to you as a friend, and I've come up with all these arguments based on the Vedas, I realize we're not getting anywhere. So now you're my guru. So yakshe yaksya nishtitam bruhi tanme. Please instruct me as a guru for my ultimate good. What is the ultimate good and how can I achieve it? Shishyasteham shariman tvam papannam. I surrender unto you as your shishya, as your disciple. Now Prabhupada points out in one lecture, it's very interesting, because the Sanskrit language is so intricate and deep, There are these roots of the words, and each word has its root, and sometimes there's many words coming from one root. So the root of this word shishya is shas, which means control. It's the same root of the word shastra and shastra. So a shishya means someone who agrees to be controlled by a superior person. And if you're really intelligent, you know the criteria, you've been held by a pure devotee of Krishna. That's the real guru. That means also we controlled by shastra. Otherwise, shastra, which means Kali's weapons, you know. In other words, you're going to be cut down by the force of time. But you're going to be controlled one way or another. We're servants by nature, you know. Although in Maya, we think we're not servants, we're masters, but it's just an illusion. We're servants. So anyway, Arjun then, so what's Krishna's first words? Before that, he was encouraging him, get up, get up. You should get up. It's not proper for you not to fight, you know. But as soon as he surrenders, he says, Ashochan and Vashotastram, you're lamenting for what isn't worthy of grief. You're speaking so-called learned words, you know, as if you were a pundit. In other words, he gets on his case. So that is a perfect example. So that's, Srila Prabhupada's books are full of these words. If we take them properly, they're a challenge. You know, they're a challenge to our misconceptions, to our attachments, to our, you know, what we think is important. But that's good. When we take them in and we try to live according to them, that means that we're being purified. So that's what Lord Shiva is giving us an example of how we should eagerly covet the association of devotees. And this is what, you know, Prabhupada with great effort created this movement. And now, you know, everything, there's a lot of two-edged swords. The internet, there's so many ways of getting corrupted by the internet. No, I don't have to tell you. But there's also so many wonderful features on there. Yesterday I was thinking, I'd like to hear a nice kirtan, you know, and I was thinking Badahari, wonderful kirtan leader, all over YouTube. You know, you can get anything you want. It's a desire tree. There's even we even have a site like that, ISKCON Desire Tree. Have you got on there? Yeah. So many, all these lectures, you know, you can spend your life listening. So it's available, but there has to be that will, that desire. No, I'm not going to listen to this. I want to hear, you know, kirtan. And what does Prabhupada say? The real Vedantist, the greatest Vedantist is someone who enjoys the chanting of Hare Krishna and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name. So that's very possible to cultivate in this age, is a taste for the holy name. So many beautiful kirtans going on, you know, and books coming out. Shachinandan Swami sent me a book, The Living Name. He's kind of the acharya for the japa retreats and really trying to refine the japa. It's an incredible book. He's written, I think that's his third book on the holy name. So, does he have more than that? Yeah, maybe 4 or 5. So the point I'm making is that this, you know, verse, which Srila Prabhupada at great effort, you know, produces books, and we have a chance to read the srimadbhagavatam, is encouraging us to take advantage of the great wealth that we have already at our fingertips. Just being fortunate enough to be within a temple and have the discipline of the morning program and so much wonderful service to perform is, you know, trillions of lifetimes to get the opportunity. We should appreciate it. And so many wonderful, you know, books and descriptions of Krishna, the philosophy, everything is now available to us, and we should take advantage of it and make it available to as many people as possible. That's what, you know, book distribution is all about. That's why it's such a wonderful service. I was reading a story about one devotee. Again, he was, you know, just couldn't hold him back. You know, he was totally into book distribution. I forget his name, and you know, even at the cost of his health, you know, he was going out once he get a taste for his preaching, because it's so pleasing to the Lord. So that means there's a taste there. You know, if you really think about the situation we're in, we have some faith, obviously, in the process. We wouldn't be sitting here, but just to have concern and awareness, you know, there's millions and millions of people who haven't heard of Krishna, or they don't know anything, and they're depending on us to give it to them. This generation, you know, the movement means it moves with moving people, and so it's the more that we can take this mission and accept a little austerity for becoming a little purified and giving this great opportunity to others. And this is, it's got to be the most pleasing thing, to all the parampara and to Krishna and Prabhupada. And so we should take advantage of it. All right, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read the previous verse also because they go together, just the translation. And then this verse. If one by chance associates with a devotee even for a fraction of a moment, he no longer is subject to attraction by the results of karma or jnana. What interest, then, can he have in the benedictions of the demigods who are subject to the laws of birth and death? In this way, by the association, my dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all contamination of sin. I therefore beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees, who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet, and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. Any discussion?
I asked Brigupati Prabhu one time, because he's been distributing books for so many years. He's very enthusiastic.
I think even longer than Vijay.
Oh yeah,
by a few years.
He's 73 years old.
No, since
1973 he started.
Like 47 years.
So how many years? 47 years. Okay. How old is Brigupati Prabhu now?
He must be 68.
Oh, 68.
Yeah, he's a little younger than me.
But I asked him one time. I said, like, what do you do for your enthusiasm, for your inspiration? And different devotees have different things they may do. So he said, what I like to do is I get these different excerpts from Prabhupada's conversations, lectures, morning walks, and I print them out on a piece of paper, and I laminate them, like very special ones. Or like from Prabhupada's books, purports, verses.
I know he likes the Ghost from Ashtika.
Yeah,
he reads that all the time.
Yeah, he did that too. He laminated it and
I've seen that.
chants it. And then he had probably like 8 of them. He showed me, and before he'd go on books or just throughout his day, he would just look at them. And specifically, it was once that about like book distribution.
Can you get this? There's a big breeze blowing now.
One about like book distribution and preaching, things like that. So that's I've been thinking about that lately, and because there's certain things that we may read or hear that are very inspiring to us, and to latch onto those things and try to focus on them, it seems like a good policy. But what got me thinking about that was that you're quoting this verse, Tata Duk Sangamutsvija, which is a very nice verse, and in that 11th canto, of the Bhagavatam, I was trying to find a purport, for that verse, but there's no purport. And there may be a purport from previous acharyas, but in the BBT translation, there's no purport. But then I found that there is a purport. Prabhupada gave a purport to this particular verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Adi Leela, when he's just, I think, at the very beginning, talking about the gurus. But
right, first chapter.
It's a nice purport. So
actually, what we should do is refer to that purport in the 11th canto, which I can do. I can add that in there. No one will say a word. I'll just say for an explanation of this verse, see Adi Leela, or maybe we'll just say the Srila Prabhupada's purport, because there's other verses like that in the 10th and 11th canto, where we say, it's maybe a little statement, and then say before, that'll be the purport. We'll add that purport in the 11th canto to refer him back. Yeah, there's a bunch of verses. Something like that. Yeah. Thanks for pointing out. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Thank you for that. See, you're changing the books, Balaram. I won't tell anyone. Anything else? Okay, I was asked this morning for a verse, a sweet verse, which I tried to come up with, but then I thought of one even sweeter. So if you allow me, I'll end on this sweet note, because it's pretty early. Oh, well, there's some that are There's sweet, sweet, there's sweet, 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 and then there's sweet, 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 sweet. So this one is by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He has really a lot of nice verses. First of all, there's this one, which doesn't have a poem, but it's such a great verse. He wrote 100 verses when Lord Chaitanya revealed himself, in I think six-arm form, a certain six-arm form to him. And he was, overwhelmed with ecstasy, and then he writes 100 verses. Can you imagine? Just like that. Sanskrit. So this one I discovered. Some of you have heard it, but you haven't heard it in a while, I don't think. Hare Krishna Rama Nama Gana Dana Karinim Shoka Moha Loba Tapa Sarva Vigna Nashinim Pada Padma Lumna Bhakta Vrinda Bhakti Dahinim Goda Mota Masha Nami Nama Sutta Dharinim. Even the Sanskrit is sweet. So what he's saying there, this is golden avatar, Lord Chaitanya. He made a gift of the song of the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna Rama Nama Gana. The song composed of the names Hare Krishna and Rama. That's it. He made a gift of it, Dana Karinim. And those who accept this gift and chant the name, Karinim, Shoka Moha Loba Tapa Sarva Vigna Nashinim. All sufferings, beginning with lamentation, illusion, greed, Shoka Moha Loba Tapa, all kinds of sufferings are eradicated. And for those devotees of his who are very greedy for service to his lotus feet, he bestows the highest level of prema bhakti. I very enthusiastically glorify this golden avatar who is in a secluded place chanting japa on a knotted string. He would do like that, knotted string. So now that's sweet. This is, as sweet. Barha pidam maura bibrid vangsi naran atan van. Nana kalpashi sampanno gopa sribi sambita. Netanandam kurvan Krishna tunchadvikshet sambeta. Sarve kamak sampadyerat asmakam vidyasina. Decked with crown of peacock plumes, and chanting songs with flute you sing, wearing lovely ornaments while standing in the gopi's ring. Dear most Krishna, eyes delight, if you would kindly glance our way, all our heart's desires would be fulfilled on this most blessed day. There you go. Easy to memorize. Sanskrit meter is extremely simple. They're all long syllables. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.